Let us begin with session 3, Introduction to Instant Messaging, and session 4, Chatting with Contacts of Unit Web Applications. Let us begin with first session, Instant Messaging. As we all know, nowadays we can communicate with anyone globally, worldwide. Wherever we are sitting, we can send messages, receive messages, send information and share information with anyone worldwide. So technically what we call that communication, that we are going to study in this unit. So instant messaging, it is a form of communication over the internet that offers an instantaneous or real-time transmission of text-based messages from sender to receiver. So it is a real-time conversation, text-based conversation where we can send messages and receive messages at the same time. Nowadays, most messaging softwares include the options to add files, audio, video, pictures, etc. with the text chat. So they help us to communicate in a better way that we can use either for personal or any professional. Next is offline messages. Offline means when we are not connected with the internet at the moment. If the internet connection is not available, still we can send the messages or any information over those applications. As soon as we will be connected with the internet, those information will be delivered to that person. So that kind of messaging is called offline messaging. So instant messaging happen in real time, and the response from participants can be spontaneous, means at the same time. But some of the messaging softwares allows us to view and receive messages when they are not logged on. These are called offline messages. For utilizing audio and video chat or conferencing, we need to have some special devices like microphones, headsets, speakers, webcam, etc. so that we can talk with each other, not only type with the type text but also with the voice or by seeing each other. So these are the devices which help us to perform different kind of messaging. Next, key features of instant messaging. Now what does it mean? Key feature means what are the properties, characteristics of the instant messaging. Now first point, text messages can be sent to one or more person at the same time. Like in WhatsApp, Snapchat, we can communicate with more than one people at the same time. Next, audio calling and conferencing. Not only the text messages, but we can also send our voice notes, or we can have live audio calling. Video calling and conferencing. With the voice, we can even see each other like we are sitting in front of each other. That is called video calling. Next, file transfer. Again, we can share the information, we have shared the files, we can share any picture, images, videos, etc. on those applications. So they help us to even transfer the files. Next is message history. Now we can even see what kind of conversation we had on our softwares. So that is message history. Now for all these activities, first we have to create an account. As we all know, for every transactions or every communication, we must have an ID or account. So on whatever software we are using for the communication, we have to first create an account. Participants messaging to each other need to be signed in to the same instant messaging software. To use instant messaging softwares, a user must have a valid instant messaging account. Next is, how many kind of services are there for instant messaging? So we have two kind of instant messaging softwares. First is application based and second is web based. Now application means softwares that we can download on our computer system and we can, or a mobile, and we can use it at any time. Next is web based. Web based means we have to connect with the browser. We have to open a web browser and we have to connect to the website of the concerned software. Then only we can communicate. For that purpose, we must have internet connection and we are connecting to the website. But in application based, we can perform offline messaging also. So application based instant messaging software is downloaded and installed on user's computer. Some of the examples are Google Talk, Yahoo Messenger, Skype, Windows Live Messenger, Redivo, etc. And web-based instant messaging softwares is accessed using browsers such as Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox, Google Chrome, etc. And some of those are Mevo, Yahoo Messenger for the web, MSN, and IMO. So we can use any method whatever we like. Now, next is general rules and etiquettes to be followed while chatting. Now, there are some kind of guidelines that we should follow while chatting. Some of those are: first, messages should be short and to the point. Always introduce yourself by name if your screen name does not reflect it. Always ask if the other person has time to chat first, regardless of how important you think what you have to say is. It's not going to be well received if the recipient is busy. If a business environment, know exactly what you want to discuss. Typing your messages in uppercase is considered rude or aggressive. So we should avoid typing in uppercase. Give people time to respond. Again, we should not continuously send messages and did not see whether the person is replying us or not. So we should avoid that. We should have a proper conversation. Give the person you are communicating with your undivided attention. It's not just a sign of respect, but if you have multiple conversations happening or allowing other issues to distract you, you may miss an important point in the other person's message or lose the gist of the conversation. So we should not um, talk to the multiple people at the same time that we cannot handle. Next, properly end an instant messaging conversation. Okay, so give some kind of note like bye, okay, see you soon, etc. So we should end properly. Type of real-time conversation. Now let us see. They are basically chatting and video conferencing and audio conferencing. Now let us see in detail what is that. Chatting. First is chatting. Chatting is a form of conversation that is done textually between two or more members over the internet with anyone like relatives, colleagues, neighbors, etc. through sharing of text or video or audio files like WhatsApp, Snapchat, Messengers, etc. So it is basically a text-based conversation, but still, as we know nowadays, all the softwares enables us to share some of the files. So we can share the files, audio, videos as well. But the main point is text-based conversation, real-time conversation when we are sending as well as receiving the messages at the same time. This is called chatting. So Snapchat, WhatsApp, Messenger, etc. We can see in the diagram that chatting can be done on any kind of application, either on mobile or a desktop. Next is video conferencing. It is a very famous and nowadays used by everyone, professionally, personally, or for any kind of conversation. So video conferencing is a real-time video conversation done over the internet where people can see and hear each other using camera, mic, speaker, and other devices. It is also useful for the people sitting at different locations in the world to communicate easily and effectively. It is also used by professionals to provide presentations and training, to share the work details with the people at different locations globally. So it helps us to communicate when we are not able to go from one place to another place. We can communicate with each other professionally, personally by sitting at our home or any other place, and we can see and we can hear each other. So this is video conferencing. It's all about chatting. Next topic is session 5 and 6, creating and publishing web pages or blogs. Now blog. A blog is a discussion style site used by non-technical users for creating personal web pages. Blogs are similar to an online personal diary and simple to use. So basically, blogs are the platforms where we can put our thoughts and discuss on different topics with different peoples, and anyone can participate on that blog. We can use a blog to convey messages about events, announcements, news, reviews, etc. Blogs are usually managed using a web browser, and this requires active internet connection. We can also use offline blog softwares to create content first and later publish the content when an active internet connection is available. So we have online and offline both services for the blogs. So there are some of the examples of the blogs: WordPress.com, Blogger.com, Blog.com, Weebly.com, Blogspot.com. So you can remember any five. Now, here we have given an example of WordPress. So WordPress is a free web service that we can use to create a beautiful website or a blog. So you can try it and use it. So what are the requirements to create the blog? So whenever we want to create any kind of blog account, we have to first open a web browser with the internet connection and then type the site's name. So here we have used wordpress.com. Then we have to provide blog address that should be unique, not same with anyone. Then we have to enter username and password to secure our information, and with the proper email address we have to register, and we have to then choose the language in which we want to communicate. So using these process we can create the blogs. Next session, offline blog editors. So offline means when we are not having any internet connection at that moment, so we can create offline blog also. Offline blog help us to review our information. So sometimes it happens that when we are continuously writing something unknowingly that is posted on the platform, and later on we have to delete it or we have to apologize for that. So rather than doing that, we can use offline blog editor where we can create the post and then review the post carefully. When it is reviewed and we are satisfied, then we can post it with the internet connection. So either we can use for that purpose, or when we do not have internet connection, so we can save our blogs and later we can post it when we will have internet connection. So that is offline blog editors. Some of the examples are Karuna, Windows Live Editor, Writer, and BlogDesk. So here we get an application software which help us to write and create the blogs offline. So this is all about internet messaging, blogs, and or online blogs and offline blogs. Now let us see some of the questions to review the learning. Explain the purpose of a blog. List any 5 websites that provide blog services. Difference between web page and website. Explain the purpose of an offline blog editor. List any 5 offline blog editors. Next questions. State any 3 rules and etiquettes to be followed while chatting on the internet. What are the basic needs to use instant messaging softwares? List any 5 application-based instant messaging softwares. Then define chatting and video conferencing with examples. So this is all about session.